Hey everyone, I'm Brandon Gaylor, and on this channel, I've not really done much to it. Every now and then I'll post up a fishing or car related video. Maybe I've done mountain biking in the past, guns, whatever. This is my first YouTube channel I've ever done. I've had it for several years, but I don't really keep up to date on it. I want to change that now. I guess a couple years ago I got heavy into the fishing and started doing a lot of fishing videos, or some fishing videos, not a lot. But that's what I'd like to keep focusing on this channel. I like to regularly post fishing videos and fishing equipment comparisons, all just anything fishing related. That's what I've done my whole life. That's what I know better than anything really. Ever since I can remember, I've researched and studied fishing stuff, catalogs, different boat models, just everything. So my whole life, even as a child, I've studied and learned all kinds of fishing stuff, even before I even knew how to bass fish. Now, bass fishing is what I mainly know. I don't know, like, really crappie fishing, stripers, catfish, trout, whatever. I don't really know that stuff that much, but I'll probably start doing it some. I have more of an interest in it now than I used to, so I'll probably do a little bit of everything, but mainly bass. So something cool about what is behind me right here, this is a not new to me boat. I bought this boat back in November of last year. It's now July 24, and this is actually my first boat. I got this, well, let me tell you a story. When I was about 10 years old, all I wanted to do was bass fish. Never done it before. I've only caught a couple bass off the dock, like off of a dock, and I've never had a boat, never really fished from a boat. And I started saving my money to buy a boat. It was kind of impossible back then. It took me years and years to save enough money to buy a boat. Anyways, my papa and my dad kind of seen me working at it and wanting it so bad that they came together, and my dad didn't have the money to buy a boat either. But he kind of talked to my papa and say, hey, this is what he's wanting to do. He's wanting to learn how to bass fish, and actually the ultimate goal back then was even to be a pro. So that's what I've worked on my whole childhood pretty much. Anyways, my papa seen this boat at Earl's Marine Center in Andersonville, Tennessee. And it was this boat here, nothing like the condition it's in now. It was way worse even back then. This was back in 2002. I was 12 years old when he bought me this boat. 2000 to 2002, 2 years of saving up for this boat. I didn't come close to it, but my papa helped me buy it, and it was in rough shape. Like, it had an old 1978 Mercury 40 on it. Didn't run good. All the decking was rotted out, and we ran this boat for a couple years like that, and then we remodeled it and restored it to how it is now. It was nicer back then, so we fixed this boat up in, I guess, about 04, somewhere around there. So you're looking at 20 years ago, and this has 20 years of wear on it since then, and it's still in pretty decent shape. Anyways, I sold it when I was 15 or 16 and bought a Javelin 400 TE, which my dad still owns today. But this was my first boat. Ran it from 12 years old to about 16, 17 years old, somewhere around there. So this boat I learned how to bass fish in. We spent a year or more, me and my dad both. He didn't know how to bass fish. He just only bank fished and fished for bluegill and just whatever. Crappie, not really crappie, catfish some. He was just a bank fisherman. Never had a boat. Been on a boat some with friends, but he didn't know bass fishing. I knew bass fishing from studying it and learning about it, looking at magazines, Bassmaster, FAW back then. I guess not really FAW, really just Bassmaster. And catalogs, knowing the equipment, knowing what rod and reel setup to use, even before I even had them. And back then you'd have internet, or it was when the internet was just starting, and about the only thing you had was TV shows. You had, of course, Bassmaster, you had Bill Dance, you had Jimmy Houston, Shaw Grisby, Hank Parker. That's about it, really. There's Al Linder, but he was more walleye and that kind of Yankee fishing, I always called it. Anyways, so that's what I grew up kind of learning. but couldn't do it because I didn't have a boat. So this boat gave me the ability to do it. And it took us, me and my dad both, about probably a year or two just before we caught a keeper bass. And here where we're at in Tennessee, on Watts Bar Lake, it's 15 inches. So it took us a good couple years to even catch a keeper bass. Like we were catching 10, 12 inches. And a spinnerbait was the main thing I started learning on and getting good at and catching fish with. So that was, I guess, one of the first techniques that I learned out of this boat. And my dad actually caught his biggest fish still today, over 6-pounder, out of this boat, while it still had the bad decking and everything on it. So it was the first couple of years we've had this boat. And I've got some pictures. I'll put in some pictures during this video of that fish, plus any old pictures I can find of this boat back then. And just a quick history past this boat for me. Started with this boat, sold it when I was 16, 17-ish, bought that Javelin 400 TE. Ran it for a few years, I guess, till my early 20s. It had some motor it's just an old boat, so it always had problems like this one did back then. Got tired of having problems because I was trying to fish big tournaments with it, or like bigger tournaments, like local BFLs and stuff like that. I started out at 16 as a co-angler while I had this boat, so that got me going in tournaments. Anyways, I was wanting to jump to the boater side and do local tournaments as well, team tournaments. So got the Javelin 400 TE, which my dad still has. Sold it to him when I was early 20s, I guess. Bought a Bass Cat Sabre. It was I think it was an 07 model. It was pretty much brand new. It had 19 hours on it when I bought it. I ran it for 1 year, I think, and found a Bass Cat Pantera 4, which is it was an 08 model, had a 200 Mercury on it, Optimax, and I actually have a video of it on this channel. But I ran that boat for several years, and that's what I did most of my tournament boater side fishing out of. I actually won some tournaments, came pretty close to winning some tournaments, so I had some decent success in that boat. Actually got to know Rick Pierce at Bass Cat a little bit by going to trade shows and meeting him in person, and actually got offered a Bass Cat deal. I turned it down because I was kind of at that point getting out of it. I was kind of burned out on the tournament fishing, and it's just way too much money for me to try to go pro. Like I was still doing it at home, but still working 2 jobs, plus trying to do the fishing stuff, and was still broke. That was my excuse for not continuing the pro fishing dream. Anyways, that was definitely my favorite boat I ever had. But this one is a special boat to me because it's my first. And I can pass it down, fix it up and pass it down to Jackson and our future kids. So anyways, it's a good starter learning boat. So there it is in all of its 1980 glory. It is a 1980 Bass Tracker 3. It originally came with a 40 Mercury on it, 78 model. It now has, which we put on it back when we had it the first time, a 1992 Johnson 50 on it. The trailer was originally white. We painted it black, put the little pinstripes on it. I'll walk you through, starting from the bow to stern. All this is kind of bad looking now. It was all painted nice and black back when I had it. That needs to be fixed. It has a Minn Kota edge on it now, 24 volt. It's not even wired up or anything. We put this plug in. It has a original Easy Tro tray. This was one of the very first ones. My dad is the original owner and everything of this company, and he still owns it. So this is our product that we made, the Tro motor recess. And this deck, it originally had the deck stop right here, and I believe it just had a center hole that went in this way, no top storage or anything. So we added this deck to it, all new wood, and we fiberglassed the wood that way it wouldn't rot, and it's still pretty solid now. The only thing it needs on the front deck part is new doors. I was told from the person I bought it from that the owner he bought it from was a pretty large fellow, so some of these doors have kind of been stepped on and cracked some from a big guy. So I'm going to definitely replace the doors and rip out the carpet. These are the seats we put in it. These same seats, same console. This is the same Eagle cheap depth finder we put on it. It doesn't work. It's just a basic metal console. This is some of our plastic that we covered up some of the screw holes with. Steering wheel, old classic steering wheel. Same seats, under seat storage, Johnson controls, rear seat. This is the live well. Decent sized live well for this boat, for this size of boat. It's got a divider. And the back deck is rotted now, so I'm definitely going to put new wood in the back deck. And then back here, we've got a, looks like a newer Rural King, just 24 volt or 24 size cranking battery. I'll run that for now, then probably upgrade to AGM once I get electronics put on it. It's got an old metal 6-gallon gas tank, which that's probably the one we still had in it. I know the bilge pump works, but I don't think any of the live pumps or nothing like that work. Live well pumps work. I may see if I can fit in a 12-gallon gas tank back here. I feel better having 12 gallons than I do 6. Transom is the original wooden transom, and it seems pretty solid. We didn't replace that. This motor runs. After I'll do the walk around, I'll show you. I fired this up a couple days ago and showed the motor running. The tilt and trim does need work. It's not working right now. It's not even wired up or anything, so I've got to play around with that and get that fixed. I'll probably rebuild it, or I'll just have to look at it and see if the motor's working at all on it. And hopefully I can just rebuild it and it works, but we'll see. Hopefully I don't need a whole new tilt and trim unit. It's got LED lighting on the trailer now, but like this other side's falling off. I'll probably, like, it worked to get home, but I'm gonna get new lighting for it. Probably all new wires, run it right, do everything right on this boat, repaint the trailer, get new wheels and tires for it, new bearings, all that good stuff, make it reliable. So layout wise, it's got a pretty big deck on it, like as big as you can get it for this size boat. And it's honestly, we built it like a mini bass boat. So that was our goal back then, and that's what we did. The trolling motor is a 65 pound thrust, 24 volt. So I'm gonna step up here and show you what this layout looks like. So we've got trolling motor foot pedal, recessed. I will eventually get a graph and mount it probably up here somewhere in front of the trolling motor pedal, like all the big bass boats are doing nowadays. We have storage here. This was originally for a battery, I believe, for the trolling motor battery. We had that one and this one here. See, there's the wiring. So I will either, I'm not sure if I'll run my trolling motor batteries up here or in the back. We'll just have to play with it. Probably up here for now. It should help with some of the weight. You probably need some little bit more weight up front to get planed up and all that and keep the weight off the back. And there's not a ton of room in the back, so that's something I'll play with, is where we mount our batteries. And all these boxes, they're kind of a pain to get up, so I'm gonna get some kind of handle for them, either just a finger hole handle, a T-handle, or even just a strap that's mounted here just to pull up on it. Not sure yet. I'll put new hinges on everything, rip all the carpet out, new doors. The guy I bought it from gave me life jackets. So here's one storage compartment, and it rained pretty hard yesterday, so there's a little bit of water leakage in here too. But this is decent sized storage. It's all wooden except for that's aluminum sides. This is where the original deck was. That's a little wet, but it seems solid. Over here, we got the same thing on this side. There is one of the tilt and trim parts, the pump. Same kind of storage here. A little wet down there, but it should be fine. So it's got decent storage, especially for this size boat. Here's a little pull strap that somebody's added to it since us. And in here is our rod storage. And this here is a cut up piece of a Dagger kayak. My dad used to work at Dagger, and we stuck this in here so our rods wouldn't hang up on stuff. But the bad thing is it doesn't go, it goes pretty far up there, but not all the way. And you can only fit about a 6'6" rod in here or so. Maybe 7 foot if I remember, but I definitely want to be able to fit a full size 8-foot rod in here. You can see it goes up there pretty decent ways. So this kayak I will probably pull out and rig something up else to keep rods from catching on stuff. I'm not sure what, but I don't really like the kayak anymore. I definitely want to clean up this box more than anything. And I'm thinking I will, to be able to fit a big rod in here, I'm thinking right here, I will maybe cut out this bottom part and extend it out here some, however far I need to. That way it's a step, comes about halfway up, a step to go to the top, and I can put my big rods under here. My big, well, I guess most of my rods go under there because most of my rods are over 7 foot. I may need to extend the whole piece out and just have a whole extension right here. I have to play with that and see, because I would like to have all my rods in there. I don't like having rods out when I'm traveling and stuff. I would rather have it all inside. So I'm gonna play with this and extend this rod locker box somehow. That would still give you enough room, leg room here. Middle seat, not really too worried about that if somebody doesn't have leg room, because it's probably gonna be Jackson or another kid. So under seat storage wise, we have this box opens, and underneath all the seat is storage, both seats. All this wood seems fine. Back deck, live well, bilge area, and all this side stuff is rotted. You can see that wood's rotted. So first thing I'm gonna do is rip up the back deck, put new wood down, and my plan is to put EVA foam. I was gonna use marine mat, because at the Hobie tournament I fished this year, I won a half off coupon for marine mat. But after looking at them, they have to custom make it for your boat, and I don't really want to do that. I'd just rather just order rolls of this stuff and do it myself. So I'll probably buy some Amazon EVA foam and do this all myself. We've got a fuse panel down there which needs to be all redone. I plan on rewiring this whole boat, just basically restoring it the best I can, cleaning everything up, ripping out all the wires and stuff that doesn't do anything or needs work, rewiring everything, repaint like the console here. I'd like to fill in some of these holes. I don't know how I'll do that. Maybe just a metal panel that covers everything or something like that. I'm not sure. You can see the original logo there. That's pretty cool. This is a 16-foot boat. Not huge, but big enough to comfortably fish 2 people. We've had 4 people on this before, and it's pretty tight, but me and my dad several times, we've both fished on the deck, and it's doable. So my first plan for this boat is to get the motor solid, changing out the gear lube, put a new impeller in it, the water impeller, probably spark plugs, probably new fuel line. Battery seems good. Bilge pump, need to test it. I don't want to get out and take on water and not be able to pump it out. Live well, not too worried about that right now. Mainly just getting, well, I need the tilt and trim. Tilt and trim, lower unit stuff, spark plugs, fuel line, stuff like that I need to do first. And replace this back deck. I don't know if my nav lights work or not. I may do it in stages, do back deck first, and then work on the cockpit area and the front deck since they're not as bad. The console's a little loose. You can see it move here. I need to fix that. So the main thing I want to do to get it going is I need trolling motor batteries too. I bought a Li-Time or Li-Time, however you say it, lithium battery for my kayak. It's a 12 volt, 100 amp hour. I may buy a second one of those and run it in this boat and share it with my kayak. That'd probably be the most cost-effective way to do it. I still want to keep my kayak up and going good and not just go totally this boat. So if I ever need it in my kayak, I'll just pull it out and put it from this boat to there, and then vice versa. That should be about it to really get it on the water. I do need to get it registered and everything in Tennessee. I've not done that. I actually bought this in Sparta, Tennessee, which was about an hour or so away from me towards Middle Tennessee. Then after doing those things, I'll probably work on ripping out the carpet the rest of the way, extending this rod locker box, figuring out what I want to do with it, and then putting EVA foam over all the whole boat. I need to replace the doors on these front boxes. Beverly bought me for Christmas last year, right after we bought this boat. She bought me boat buckles for the back of the trailer to tie down the boat to the trailer. It's just a ratcheting strap where it's attached on the trailer, comes up, hooks in the boat, and you can crank it down. That's what I always run on my Bass Cats. And she bought me rod buckles that they're retractable, that they mount in the gunnel of the fiberglass boats, and you pull out and they snatch in, or they just snatch into the floor there, hold your rods in, and when you don't have rods, you just release them and they go into the gunnel. But this boat doesn't have a gunnel, like it's just aluminum wall, so I'll have to mount them in the deck here. So they'll be down facing up instead of sideways. Shouldn't be too bad. I will probably do a full blue water LED setup on this boat. That's something I had on my Bass Cat, my last one, the Pantera 4. I would like to do a headlight on the trailer motor. I like to do backup lights on the trailer, rod locker lights inside, gunnel lights down the side, maybe black lights. I've never had black lights before, but I could see going out in the dark and nighttime fishing. It's like anything else, you just gotta do it in stages as you can afford to. The biggest thing I would like to have someday is good electronics. That's something I've dearly missed after selling my boats, my bass boats. I do have a Garmin UHD 73 SV, the EcoMac Ultra on my kayak. The 7-inch touchscreen with side down and 2D sonar, GPS, all that. Doesn't have live scope or nothing like that, but you can get it for it. And it has Navionics built in. I'll probably keep with Garmin. My Bass Cats always ran Humminbird on them because I think back then they were the best. Nowadays they're still good, I think. I'm not a fan of Lowrance. I don't really like them, not used to using them. But I've gotten pretty used to using the Garmin after having it on my kayak, and I think they're probably the best bargain on the market. Like the Humminbird seem to be a lot more expensive, and not even touchscreen on the Helix. So I'll probably keep with Garmin's. They have the best live scope on the market, so I'll definitely keep with that. So I plan to go with the biggest Garmin's I can afford. I want to get the newer ones that has the GT56 transducer. That way it's the newest technology. The one I have now has the GT54, which it's great. I can't complain about it, but why not get the newest when you can? So I'd like to go at least a 9 on these, front and back. Preferably bigger, depending on what kind of deals and stuff they have when I'm ready for it. But each one of them units are about $1,200. So I was buying 2 of those units, and that's as much as this boat cost me. I paid $2,500 for this boat, by the way. So I think I sold it back in the day for, I think 20, actually, my papa bought this boat from Earl's Marine Center back in the day when we first bought it for $2,800, and I sold it back after fixing it up and all that for $2,800 as well. So, and then I just bought it back for $2,500. Just two electronics alone would be as much as the boat. So it's definitely going to be a while before I get electronics. I'll probably just run it without for a while and put my money into fixing it up and getting it sound, getting the motor stuff working and the woods replaced. So a couple days ago, I fired this boat up for the first time since buying it in November. It's basically just been sitting under the barn here, right there, under a tarp. So here's the video of me firing it up, Houghton Jackson. It's pretty wild that this is my first boat I got when I was 12, and now I have a kid and he's climbing around on this boat enjoying it. So I can't wait to take him and Beverly out on the water.
All right, you ready for this? It's not squirting water out where it should, so probably needs a new impeller. Like it should be squirting water out here.
Oh yeah.
That's what runs water up into the engine
Right.
and cools it.
Huh.
So it's running fine.
Well, good.
So thanks for watching. Thanks for watching and listening to me ramble on about this boat. It's pretty special to me, and I can't wait to see where all it takes us and the journey of fixing it up and getting it ready and keeping it for the rest of my life. So thanks for watching. I plan on posting a lot more videos, fishing videos and boat videos, equipment videos, stuff like that. Thanks for watching and see y'all next time. Remember, Jesus loves you. Bye.
He gonna drive. Say boom. Boom. Hey, look. Boom. Whoa. Say boom. What's Mama doing? What's Mama doing? Yeah. Oh, you got the light.